We want to greet the podcast audience. Welcome. Hey, it's the Luskos to this live episode. We're taping this with Debra Fileta. Debra, thank you for coming on.
It's my pleasure to be with you guys. Can't wait.
It's been a whole year since you were with us.
A whole year. Wow.
Has it been already?
Gosh,
Yeah, you were on
crazy.
in August of 2024 last. That was episode 169.
Time flies. It's amazing.
So
And
true.
we're so excited tonight to, with the assistance of our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube fam, have some questions around the topic of emotionally healthy families. This is something that matters to the Fileta home, matters to the Lusko home, and should matter to all the Luskoteers to have emotional health be a priority in their homes, whether they're single or married with kids in your home. This should be something you fight for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Every age and stage.
And this is something that we both covered, and part of the reason we're doing this is because we both just released books. Debra, your newest book is a book for kids called Emotionally... Jennie, could you say that out loud?
Emotion-y.
Emotion-y?
That's going to be my next
Emotion-y.
I looked down and went to say it, and then I saw any, and my mind just went.
Emotion.
Could you say the title, babe?
Any day emotions, but I like emotion-a.
Okay, Debra, this book's fantastic.
It's so
Jennie, read the
beautiful.
subtitle.
God cares about your sunny day, rainy day, and every day in between. I love it
Debra,
so
just
much.
give us a little bit about this book. Why
Yeah.
what? I can say as a dad, I read this to Lennox last night, loved it. He was engaged all the way to
Lennox.
the end.
I'm glad to hear that.
And even though I was reading to Lennox, Clover found her way over, and then about halfway through, Daisy
That
came
is
over.
precious.
So by the time we ended it, everybody was there, and they were all like, "Wait a minute, is that?" Because they were connecting the dots on the illustrations being your actual kids too. By the way,
You're right.
It's
You're
very
right.
Okay.
It's called Any Day Emotions, and it's really a book for ages 2 to 8. It's a picture book that focuses on 13 different feelings, and not just the common ones like sad and joyful and peaceful, but uncommon ones like guilty and overwhelm and worry and jealousy. And it helps kids link each of those emotions to something in nature so they can identify, okay, this is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. And then it gives them what to do with that feeling when it comes. And I think the hardest part of writing this book, outside of the fact that you only get 900 words, was getting it to rhyme. I'm one of those parents. I just love the sing-songy, rhymey books
Yes.
because they stick in your head.
Yes.
Like I can still quote like Little Blue Truck from my children's like early days. And I think the fact that it sticks in your mind is a great way for us to imprint emotional health in our children's lives at a really early age.
Yes.
the book's
So
brilliant.
super excited about it.
What I feel like it does is in a very sophisticated way, and yet the approach is so subtle, it opens up the conversation on the fact that there are this many different kinds of emotions. And then there's the possibility to go like, well, which one of these are you feeling today? As opposed to just, I'm having a bad day. It's like, well, let's drill down on that, right?
Right.
Obviously, you're doing a lot with a little here.
Yeah. And the other small thing is each copy comes with a parent's guide to helping your kids navigate their feelings with activities and questions that you can dig into for every age and stage. So I think the parent's guide is a really important part. So, and what are the odds that both of us published children's books about emotions,
And-
literally 3 weeks apart?
And that yours is
Well,
2
that's
to
what
8.
I was just gonna
and
say.
that his is
I
8
know.
to 12.
So Debra
this
releases.
was not planned, but
Debra
it
released- well, it
basically
was-
sounds like it
Yeah.
I think it was
Yes.
planned by God, right?
Yes.
So you
Yes.
say, and by the way, I love the letters with the almost postcardy, the way the different emotions are inside of each of the letters. It's very well done.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to leave it sitting right here, the whole conversation. So you said 2 to 8. Well, as it so happens, for the first time ever, I started publishing, or 3 years ago, started working on what now is out, and it's Don't Worry Warrior, which begins at age 8 and goes to age 12. So between the two of us, we got like 2 to 12 covered there,
Boom.
which is pretty fun. And so now,
Absolutely. And I can vouch for your book personally. My 9-year-old Ez is a huge fan of Levi Lusko children books. He has both of your other devotionals, and we have gone through them every night. It's actually become a really special part of our nighttime routine where I put him down one-on-one and we read a devotion, talk through it, and he's so looking forward to getting this one in his hands. It's on its way.
I know the shipping was late. It's supposed to be there any moment. So hopefully the UPS driver pulls up as we record this and it's there. But I just love that God has us on this in this way. For those who are listening who haven't been familiar with Debra before, she's been on the podcast. You got to go dig up the other ones we've had her on, and we both have been on Debra's as well. But Debra's a licensed counselor, and in addition to authoring books for adults and now for children, as well as a speaker, and we've spoken together at events around the country. She's spoken to our church, but she's also counseled Jennie and I firsthand for many, many years in our marriage and lives. And so we've just really had a neat friendship and relationship together. And we're excited to have Debra on because obviously it's important to us in our writing to give tools to families, but we also believe in every way that we would be emotionally healthy individuals and leading emotionally healthy homes.
Yeah, amen to that. And we just mentioned, but I want to mention it again, that between both of our families, we have a child in every age and stage. From toddler to elementary school, middle school, high school, college. You guys have a college student and even a child in heaven. And I just think it's just a really special dynamic. And hopefully we can use our strengths and weaknesses to help other parents along this journey as well.
That's so good. And what I love too about these books is that we're not only helping kids have a vocabulary of their emotions and how to handle them and how to even talk about them. But also when we're reading them with our kids, it's something that we can talk together, but it's also reminders for our own selves. I've found reading through even just school with Lennox, helping Daisy and Clover with their school. But then now I'm actually in his age and grade, learning the beginnings of the things that the older girls are learning. And it's like, wow, I did not know this. And I think even more important with emotions, with health, with how to function as a healthy family and to be able to talk about how we're feeling, even more so. And how you guys have been able to write this out for kids is so, so huge.
I was going to ask you, Debra, have you come across any data on that would suggest how many different emotions there are altogether?
Yeah. Over 500.
Oh,
wow.
It's wild. Actually, you can Google this. You can Google a list of emotions. We have one on our website too, on our resource page, because people are always asking, and it's like, we get to mad, sad, and glad, and then we get stuck, and then we watch the Inside Out movie, and we have a couple more emotions to add to the list,
Yeah.
But literally over 500 emotions. And I mean, if you think of it like a color wheel, there might be these primary emotions that we feel, but there's a mixture of the different ones. And so when you mix a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you get this. Everything from inadequacy to shame, to feeling hurt, to feeling abandoned. There's just so many different feelings that we can have if we were to really sit and take the time to pause and to have that insight and awareness. And that in and of itself takes work.
Yeah.
Like how many of us adults, I was talking to an adult today in a counseling session. We were just saying how hard it is for him to even carve out time in his own life to be aware of his own emotions as a 50-something-year-old man. Wow. And so a lot of us don't even get these skills until later on in life. So I feel that this generation, our children's generation, is privileged in the social emotional capacity because they're learning things that we didn't learn until we were much older.
Right.
Now, let me just really quickly insert for those who are live. Now, if you're watching this later, you can't chime in. But if you're watching live, you still can at any point throw questions in. Even if it's a new thing that comes in, our team's going to collect them. If you're like, wait, no, they didn't get to my last one, we're going to jump into all of them in a minute. And we have people grabbing them. So as we see them go by, anything that Debra says, if you want to say, hey, what about it? But what in my situation, whatever you want to say, get in the mix, ask him. Jack's our producer in a minute is going to be telling us what kind of questions we're getting asked.
Yeah, we've got some good ones coming in.
Okay.
Some really good ones.
But what's that?
Oh, I just think he just made a motion saying, I think we do have some. So I was just
good.
letting you know.
We're getting questions.
Yeah,
so we
we've
are getting
got some.
questions. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, Debra, my last question before we start taking those is on this book. How was your relationship with your illustrator, Natalie Ray Peterson? She did a great job on these drawings, by the way.
She's fabulous. So there's a really famous series right now in the middle school world called The Wing Feather Saga. And they've created these animated shows as well. And my kids love The Wing Feather Saga. So all that to say, The Wing Feather Saga was written by Andrew Peterson.
Okay.
A lot of people know his name. And Natalie's his daughter-in-law. And she's also helped him illustrate some of the backgrounds for the Wing Feather Saga TV series. And, it's funny because she wasn't actually on the list of vetted illustrators. Usually publishers will give you a list. Like, here's who we've worked with and we like. And I was on Instagram one day and I saw her work and I was just like, that's it. That's the one.
She's the one.
So
Well,
I love
the
that.
fun
That's a
thing
good
for
fit.
ours, where does she live?
she lives in Nashville.
Okay, did you get to meet her?
No, I haven't met her face to face. Not yet.
So with this time for Don't Worry Warrior, we worked with someone we've never worked with before, Studio Muti, and they are in South Africa. And so same thing. Yeah, we never got to meet them, but I love what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time ever for which I know you haven't read it yet, but we messed with fiction. So, have you read like Patrick Lencioni, some of those like leadership parables?
I haven't.
So Patrick Lencioni kind of famously has these books about like culture at work and leadership and, how to succeed mostly in business. But instead of just telling you these truths, he'll create a fictitious work environment.
I love that. Yeah.
This is this person and he's struggling with this. And then when he teaches, you have that parable fresh in your mind. And I love it because it comes to life in a different way. This demanding, controlling boss and why he's not getting much out of his employees. So my thought was to do that for kids instead of just me teaching them about not worrying and dealing with anxiety and hard feelings, creating these two fictitious characters who would deal with situations that would then need me to step in and teach him. So it goes back and forth between Luca, Coral, and then my teaching. So it was kind of a fun journey on
That's
the fiction
perfect.
side. So
Especially for that age, a nonfiction book isn't going to work for the 9 to 12 demographic.
Right.
You really need to reach them with stories that they remember and things that engage them. And I think the key, even with emotional health, is learning to have conversations in a way that speak the language that our kids are going to listen to, so Don't Worry Warrior is a really good resource for that because I think kids will be engaged while they're learning. And that's really special.
Yeah.
well, hopefully, you'll have to let me know what your 9-year-old thinks about it. So I'm
I will,
eagerly
absolutely.
waiting.
Aw.
Okay.
He's biased, but
He's awesome.
he already loves it. He's ready to write a 5-star review already.
Sweet.
What a sweetheart. He brought his books to Montana when you guys came and had me sign
It
them.
was the sweetest thing because these are like hardcover thick books. We're not talking like Berenstain Bears. I mean, these are like thick devotions. He brought them in his book bag and he's like, Mr. Levi, will you please sign these for me?
so
It was
sweet.
such a
That was
sweet
special.
Oh
moment.
my gosh. I'm like, what can I do to his college investment account? Here's this little boy.
Deborah's like, yes, please.
Please.
Yeah, exactly. I welcome that.
Okay. So, Jax, let's start it off. I mean, our topic is emotionally healthy families. What are the people asking, Jax?
This is great. We're actually going to start at the foundation of building a family.
Ooh.
So Claire Laren Art on Instagram wants to know, what are the top things to think through with your spouse when planning and trying for kids?
Ooh, good one.
Love that. So I would say it's really good that you're thinking about these things already, Claire, because so many people don't think about getting on the same page about topics that don't feel relevant in the moment.
Mm.
And the fact that you're already thinking, okay, how can we talk through this? What's important for us to think about, plan? How can we get on the same page with regards to a family? You're already ahead of the game.
Right.
But I would say some topics to consider talking through before marriage or early on in marriage would be number of kids, parenting styles, parenting roles, like what's your role, what's my role, education goals. Are we in a homeschool, Christian school, public school? And not that you have to be on the exact same page about everything, because John and I certainly weren't in the beginning, but it starts the conversation, the dialogue. It helps you understand each other, helps you communicate about things. And I think that's the most important part, is getting comfortable with having some of these conversations early on.
That's great.
Jennie, what would you say are some of the biggest things we hadn't talked about prior to having kids? And let me just say, we planned on waiting 5 years and got pregnant first year of marriage. So
I was going to
Wow.
say, I think that's the only thing we talked about was waiting 5 years.
yeah, our only conversation
And we
was
didn't do
wait
it.
until 5
You should
years.
wait.
So we were like trial by fire because we were babies with
Wow.
a baby, and then
23.
newly started a church. So we had this church baby, and it was like all the baptisms by fire. It's an amazing
Were you guys
thing. We're
already
married
at
still.
Fresh Life then? Was Fresh Life a thing at that
She
point?
was 2, so she was very young.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was born, I mean, we were in ministry and she was born into youth ministry,
Yeah.
basically.
And we were pregnant with Lenya when we started Fresh Life, but didn't know it.
Wow.
right.
What was some of the things though that maybe getting on the same page would have been helpful about sooner?
I mean, even just like Debra, what you were saying, I feel like even just having those conversations where we're talking, like thinking about it, talking about it, like what would we want to do? What I think for us, and it seems like that's just how we've learned in our life, because we started off so young and we're just figuring out life, throw a baby in there, still trying to figure
Right.
out life. But just the opening up about, hey, this is something that we both want in the future. What do we think of when we think of this? Like, I think that's so beautiful to be able to have that communication and that connection about stuff that you're of the season that you're not in yet. Like, I think that's so wise. But I don't even know. I would say all of the
discipline
things.
styles, right? How are you
Yeah,
gonna?
discipline styles is big.
That's big.
There's so many personality differences. And I think the key with this dialogue is not being rigid, like not coming in with, well, this is what I think it should be.
Yeah.
Because a healthy marriage, you kind of move towards each other. You learn from each other. I think of my parenting style versus John's parenting style, and 18 years into marriage is starting to look a little bit more similar than it started, because you learn from each other, you grow with each other.
Totally.
So even just the dialogue part creates a pathway for really important things to happen along the journey of parenting.
Yeah, maybe
That's
like
incredible.
getting on the same page about what are you going to do when you get stuck? Who are you going to go to when you feel like you're at an impasse? Where having some of those like built-in safeguards, like, okay, and even having the dialogue around counseling, what role that's going to have and play in emotional health. So what is our frequency going to be? What's our rhythms, individual, together, making it available to the kids, all of those things. And I think even just having it be in the oxygen, in the lexicon, that it's part of the conversation
Exactly.
ahead of time is powerful.
Well, and also I feel like having the conversation of what your childhood was like. Like,
Yes.
I think that is something generally you talk through like premarital counseling, but sometimes you don't. I know we didn't really talk too much about that in ours, but I think even that awareness of, okay, how did you come to be? Like, what kind of discipline did you experience? What kind of parenting did you have? And then that's kind of like an insight into your frame of reference,
Good.
Yeah.
You ready for the next one?
I think so.
Those are some great answers.
Just kind of getting it
I
going,
really like
getting in the mix
Yeah,
a little.
Absolutely. All right. Next up from @MandyJean on YouTube, we've got, how do you discipline your toddler/child consistently while maintaining a healthy connection and maintaining a safe space?
Well, I do have a toddler.
Talk about
He's
it.
4. He's almost 5.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
can I
crazy.
just say, I just got to tell you a story. My parents were reminding me yesterday, because I was just talking about what a joy Ethan is. they're like, do you remember when you called us sobbing when you found out you were pregnant? It's like, yes, I do remember. Because right before Ethan, I'd had a really traumatic miscarriage and loss where I almost lost my life. And so when I found out I was pregnant again, it felt like a death sentence. But here he is, almost 5, and he is the light of our lives. I'm so grateful for him and just how God's plan is so much better than ours.
Yes.
But all that to say, the word consistently was in the question. How do you consistently parent?
Yeah.
I think the answer is with consistency. That's really my answer because I think the more consistent we are with that toddler age, and what I mean by consistent is I'm not just going to say something and then not do it. So, Ethan, if you don't do this by the count of 3, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have to sit in timeout for 3 minutes or for 4 minutes now that he's 4, whatever your parenting style is. We're not a spanking family. That's a whole conversation that I accidentally started on Instagram last week. But
is that on your feed? Because people listening to this in November will have to dig back probably to find it.
Yeah, it is on my feed. I guess I didn't realize it was so controversial.
Well, Hot Take Jimmy over here believes in spanking and didn't get enough of them, okay? You can call me Hot Take Jimmy, but only when we're alone. Oh my God.
Didn't get enough of them.
I didn't get enough of them. I'm just going to say this. However many I got, it wasn't enough. And
you got a lot.
I got a lot because I was naughty.
I got like
I'm just
1
saying.
because I never wanted to be spanked again, but I probably should have gotten more spanking.
You were a good girl. I was not, and I was not a good girl.
You were not a good girl.
I'm just saying.
Hot take.
I don't mean to bring.
You're like, I
up,
could have used more. I've never heard anyone.
And I believe
say,
it. I think if I wouldn't have been spanked, I might have gone to prison. And I think it taught me so much, and I'm so grateful for everyone.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that you benefited from spanking. But and you know what? Maybe this is the time to open the can of worms. We're here. Yeah. I think the other perspective on that, and I never come at these topics with right or wrong, right? Because it's not like a sin.
Sure.
I mean, we can discipline and sin whether we're spanking or not.
Been there, done that. Yeah, right? Exactly.
True.
So really it's finding the strategy that's most effective. And from what I see, from what I believe, from my experience, the most effective, and research shows that spanking beyond the age of 3. So let's say before age 3, it's like give you a spank because you're not supposed to touch the electrical outlet. You're not supposed to touch the hot fire. There's certain things that are safety components, pain to remind you that you shouldn't touch that because it'll bring you more pain. That's one thing. Beyond age 3, it can create more aggression and it can create a short-term solution, but not a long-term solution. So it's like the long-term solution is really helping our kids with the underlying symptoms. What are you feeling? Why are you doing this? How can we help you? How can we help bring your body back to baseline when you're temper tantruming? So back to that concept of a toddler, consistency, following through, instead of just being inconsistent. One time I say I'm going to do it, then I don't. And because they do need discipline. But I also think toddlers need help bringing their body back to baseline. And sometimes that's not discipline. Sometimes that's a snack. Sometimes it's a drink. Sometimes it's a nap. Sometimes you need a hug. So I think sometimes we discipline toddlers right away when they show big emotions, when really part of the process of parenting is also helping them navigate their body, bring it back to baseline, help them learn to self-soothe and regulate their emotions. So consistency, and also recognizing that sometimes it's not actually a behavior issue. It's a let me help you get your body back to baseline issue.
That's good.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Wow. That's great. Did you have anything you wanted to add? You spent a lot of time with toddlers over the years, Jennie Lusko.
I have.
She said while maintaining connection and safe space. That was the other part of the question?
Yep.
Connection is important.
Yeah.
You're a connection person, Jennie. I feel like you're good at that.
I am a connection person. I have definitely disciplined out of anger before. And that's almost like one of those things where I've had to give myself a timeout before I give discipline. So it's like,
Right.
okay, hold on to that thought. And you have to like walk away for a second and just like, okay, what am I like, breathe. Like I need to figure myself out before I give a discipline.
Yeah, you're saying regulate yourself, like Debra was saying.
Yeah.
And I think some of the sweetest conversations have come out of those, like that you took the time to love and to care and to show up and to train. And it's not punishment. Punishment is the cross, right? Everything else is training, like the love, like Hebrews says, that comes from training a father that doesn't love his kid, doesn't train his kid. So this is training, we're learning, all those things. So I think just taking the time, right?
I think so. Sorry, I don't really have
a
good answer.
What else we got, Jax?
That's great. I think I'm going to be changing your name in my phone to Hot Take Jimmy, because that's an incredible nickname. Incredible.
Yeah, it's my DBA.
I love it.
I do business as. Yeah.
I love it.
Wow.
All right. Next up, we've got someone coming to us from Facebook. Gabrielle Hope wants to know, she said, single mom of a 5-year-old, and her father has been absent for 4 years. We live in a different state than our extended family, including my grown children. Any advice for navigating all of that?
Single mom of a 5-year-old.
Sounds like it's a second wave too, because she's got grown children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind for you, Gabrielle, is to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because as a single mom, I mean, the parenting is hard when there's 2 of you.
Mm-hmm.
So multiply that. And you realize like this is not for the faint of heart. This is for superheroes.
Yeah.
This is superhero stuff. And so to honor your own capacity by taking care of yourself so that you bring your best self to the parenting table. And I think as a single mom, it's easy to feel guilty when you need time to yourself, when you need to exercise, when you need to eat healthy, when you need to get help. Hey, can someone babysit? Can I have friends, family, support? Sometimes it can feel wrong. You can feel guilty about that. But I would remind you that taking care of yourself, that soul care for you in this season is not a luxury. It's a necessity in order for you to pour out to your 5-year-old in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind of parenting well, is to make sure you stay filled up.
Yeah,
Very
that's so good,
advice.
Debra. That's so good. I think because it sounds like, Gabrielle, that you have family, you don't have family nearby. And so I don't know what your involvement is with in church or what community looks like. But in order to have someone who can babysit your kids, there does have to be that community around you. And so if you're not plugged into a local church or have those people, neighbors or whatever who you trust, that is such a great place to obviously meet people and have community and grow in your walk with the Lord, but also to have your family, basically, like your extended family in Christ, coming in and being able to babysit. And
when we were walking into the studio, literally just a moment ago, we walked through the atrium of one of our church buildings, and I saw, with our youth pastor in there and a couple other volunteers, a young man who was helping set up for the youth group. And I happen to know his mom's raising him alone. And here's a teenage boy who doesn't have his father in his life in the same way he would have had they, remained married and his dad stayed present. And by all cultural standards and statistics, he is far more likely to head towards a raft of negative, outcomes. If you look into the data on young men raised in single mother homes, socially ills are brought upon you at a higher rate than not. And yet I'm watching him with this youth pastor, with our team, be like what the Bible says, set into families. God sets the solitary family. So he doesn't have his dad in the home, but he's got this young man who is godly, who's a father, who's a husband. He's mentoring him, getting to see him on the weekends. I see him serving. He's in the mix with grown men. So he's getting access to uncles in the faith, fathers in the faith, brothers, big brothers in the faith. And so, my advice is exact same. Debra's advice is spot on. You take care of yourself, because an emotional healthy family starts with an emotionally healthy individual.
Yes,
and so you're going to reproduce what you are. So take care of your own soul, and that will thrive out. You'll have more of you to deal with, even if you take a little bit of time for that manicure or counseling or whatever it is, even just a hot cup of tea sitting in your car. Jennie's like, oh, preach.
I did that today, actually.
But then secondly, lean into the power of the local church.
Yes.
And you'll watch as God, puts the bamboo shoots around him to help him grow like a plant in the garden,
Good.
Those are so great. I love that one. All right. Next up, we've got at Danger My Middle Name on Instagram.
Whoa.
It's a pretty awesome username.
It's kind of like Hot Take Jimmy.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Danger.
The next question that Danger wants to know is, what's the biblical way to blend a newly blended family?
To blend a newly blended family. So biblical.
Yeah, I was
like
just going to say
biblical.
The biblical is an interesting one, because I'm trying to think about a precedent in Scripture for a biblically blended family. Is there a blended family in the Bible?
That's a good question.
David married Abigail after Nabal died.
Did Abigail have kids?
Well, no, I'm saying she had to blend along with all of David's extra wives. So
Bathsheba
I'm
did.
just saying.
I guess if you think about the extra wives, there's a whole lot of blending in that regard.
Yeah.
Different kind of blending.
So
like Jacob and all
you got to be careful when you say
and
biblical, because are we saying
I know.
ascribing to biblical norms or ascribing to examples recorded in the Bible?
I know.
Yeah.
People ask me sometimes about biblical dating. I'm like, okay, so we need a dowry, a herd of camels, a herd of
nose
goats.
ring. Yep. But I can stand strong on spanking biblically. So at least I got that.
We'll have to dig into that one a little bit. I don't know.
A future topic.
Yeah, future topic.
And then the really hot take will come when it's spanking in marriage. That'll be the joke. That's a joke. I'm joking. We're not going to do that.
Levi Lusko.
Hot take Jimmy over here. Can't bring me anywhere.
Oh, man.
Sorry, what were you saying about blending families?
Biblical blending.
Just having a sip of my tea over here.
Yes, keep on sipping.
So though we don't have specific examples of biblical blending in the Bible, what does that look like? I do still think there's principles, there's concepts, relational principles about how to do marriage well, how to honor each other, how to submit to one another out of reverence for Christ, which then overflows into the way that we parent, into the way that we interact with our kids. So I don't know that there's necessarily like a biblical approach.
Wait, Debra, I just got it.
Let's hear it.
How about God the Father grafting us into his family and adopting us into his family, not treating us as inferior? We're like adopted sons and daughters to God. So we're all of the body of Christ is a blended family.
Whoa.
I like that. I like that perspective. We are blended.
That is good.
And we're raised up as if we were original children, one of his own, one of the chosen, the Israelites. Like, we are grafted in. And what does that look like, when we think about our relationship with God? So I do think it's important, in light of that, to think of how you honor and respect the kids that are not yours biologically. What does it look like to feel connection with them just as much as you feel connection with the others? What does it look like to expect honor and respect of both parents, no matter what the original family is? Those are some of the issues we see come up when counseling blended families, as far as like the loyalty factor. Who should I be loyal to? Or the parents feeling like I should be loyal to my child because they came before this new spouse. And those are some of the issues that come up when we're counseling blended families. So keeping some of those principles in mind, I think, can be really helpful.
Yeah.
And so you're saying emotionally healthy family culture, but now we're talking cultures. Because as the children or child or children are going back and forth from one home to another, you're talking about two distinct cultures. So and depending on what boundaries exist, what parenting plans from the courts look like, and what dialogue, if any, exists. I mean, at its worst, you're talking about custody of the child going back and forth like in a police parking lot or a safe school parking lot. There may not be any meaningful dialogue where you can really have a parenting plan. That's at its worst, right? At its best, you have a unified front, a unified plan. You're parenting with respect and appreciating each other's boundaries. But that's got to be tricky even on its best day, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think of good friends of mine who are both widowed, a widower and a widow, and they each have their own children that they bring into the marriage. And, you know, some of the struggles that they have had to navigate, but it constantly comes back to them having a healthy marriage, having healthy dialogue, like we talked about with the newlyweds, the couple that's thinking about marriage and thinking about family. That healthy dialogue, that communication is the pathway for so many things.
Yes.
So for the parents to be constantly investing in their relationship, in their communication, and being on the same page, being connected to each other emotionally, spiritually, so that they can parent from a healthy place, from a full place. I think that's really a huge component in this when it comes to blended families.
Absolutely. And if we had to boil it down to maybe a couple thoughts, it's like control what you can. You know, be the best version of yourself you can be, you're saying, and then don't be afraid of setting and respecting boundaries. Could those be a couple maybe rules of thumb there? Yeah,
absolutely. You were talking about, blended families, but then when there's also another parent involved, divorce and other things, setting healthy boundaries there. Communicating what you can. You can't control that, but what can you control within the dynamic of your home? Right. What are the boundaries and rules, even if they look different over there? And so both parents being on the same page within the marriage is key.
And trusting really God. Important. We have a friend who's in a pretty messy situation with as a single parent and his child's other parent, just very different ideologically, spiritually. And I've always just told him, hey, look, you cannot control what happens the moment that child goes to their other parent's house. But when they are here, you can, and God's going to take care. And that can be a contrast. The contrast can be powerful. What they're going to witness in there versus here, and it's so amazing because watching God just take charge of this child's heart. And like this past week, like he called me. He was like, "Hey, they started a Bible study on their school campus. Like they're on fire for God." And I was just like, man, remember all those hard moments when you were wringing your hands over this and you just, I don't know what, and so I think at the end of the day, remember God loves our kids more than we do.
Yeah.
And we only
serve a God who fills in the gaps.
Yes.
We only can control what we can.
Amen.
So don't let what you can't do keep you from doing what you can do well.
Boom.
Amen.
That's so great. Man, before we get to the next question, I just want to remind everybody who's watching, it's not too late to go ahead and throw your questions in on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We would love to hear from you.
Good.
Or a follow-up. Or a
follow-up.
Or you could drill down on something we've said and say, you're crazy. You have no idea what you're talking about. Hot take, Jimmy.
Yeah, they're going to bring Hot Take Jimmy back if we're not careful.
Bring him back.
Bring him on back.
He's never going. I'm now in Jax's phone as Hot Take Jimmy.
Yep.
This is what's happening.
I changed it while you were answering that last question.
This is what's happening.
If you would have got spanked a little more in childhood, you wouldn't have been.
Jennie just said he's Jimmy. Pastor Hot Take Jimmy to you. That's how you lose your ministry. You call yourself Pastor Hot Take Jimmy.
Oh,
Wow.
The right Reverend hot take, Jimmy, I will allow.
Okay.
The right reverend. All right. All right, right, Reverend. Next up, we've got at Bryce_Frey326 on Instagram. And he wants to know, what are some healthy practices to teach kids about conflicts and resolution as a family? I'm the oldest of 5 of us. How do I become the best big brother? How can I include the word with our sibling conversations?
Good.
Aw,
good job,
how
Bryce.
precious. You
Good
already
job.
are a good big brother asking that question.
Seriously.
That's amazing.
Conflict resolution in families. That's a really big aspect of emotional health, isn't it, Debra?
It is. Let me just say, we take apologies very seriously around here. I had to laugh because I just did a panel with Dr. Gary Chapman. He's the one that created the 5 love languages and sold like 100 million books. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Flexmaster himself.
So him and I were on this panel, and one of the questions came up, and he was talking about how just like we have 5 love languages, there's also 5 apology languages. Okay, this made me laugh because he listed them all. One of them's like ownership, one of them's remorse, one of them is, and he just went through all of them. And I'm thinking, what if you're a person who needs every single one?
Is one of them like gift giving? You gift an apology gift?
No, you don't give an apology
That's
gift.
not
It was
a
like
good
things
one?
like it was like remorse, like showing your remorse. And then, just like the way that you apologize, taking ownership. I did this wrong. One of them was like asking for forgiveness directly. Will you please forgive me? So I don't know how my kids feel about this, but I think we kind of go through the whole thing in our house. Like, to me, a thorough apology isn't, I'm sorry, and you move on. And sometimes they're sorry with such an unsorry voice.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry you got hurt.
It's like you see it happen before your eyes.
Right.
But sometimes it's humbling because I see some of those childish tendencies in myself also, when it comes to there's some moments where it's just like, why is this so hard? When the Lord confronts your pride. But conflict resolution matters, when there's a rupture, you need to handle it with a repair. Like there has to be a repair, and it's not going to just happen naturally. You have to be intentional about that repair. So in our home, how that looks is when there's something that happens, when there's a fight, when there's a conflict with 3 boys, it happens every single day. And so it's a matter
How
of
many times a day?
Yeah, so many times. With homeschooling,
try a whole herd of girls, Debra. There's just the cattiness.
I don't know. I think the boys are worse. I
don't
could
know.
be
The boys
wrong.
kind of punch and kick, but the peon stuff, the girls it's a different level of entangled emotion.
I've heard you talk about the emotion tsunami before.
Oh, it's wild. And like,
and then he and Lennox just back away slowly.
well, that can be that time of the month for
Just
all
go
of them at this
hide.
like same kind of window. And it's like, there can be such levels of steam coming off our home that Lennox and I are like, yeah, let's just go back into the woods.
It's so funny.
Give them a minute.
It's real.
So I guess it applies to all genders. They're all in need of conflict resolution.
Exactly.
So how it looks practically in our home is that when there's been a rupture, we really try to facilitate repair. Sometimes they facilitate it by themselves, but most of the time they need our help. And it starts with apologizing and saying what exactly it is you're sorry for.
Good.
I'm sorry I was disrespectful. I'm sorry I was rude. I'm sorry I called you rude names. Whatever. Like, be really specific. And then explain why you think that hurt them. I'm sure that hurt your feelings. I'm going to try to do it differently in the future. I'm going to try to do it this way. Will you please forgive me? Like they go through this little thing. And it's kind of funny because, we're teaching them, we're training them. And it's funny because sometimes Eli might say, I'm sorry, Ez. And Ez will say, for, like he knows, he's waiting for it. For, like, what exactly are you sorry for? But I do think it's setting them up for ownership. Don't just say the word. What does this word actually mean? You caused a rupture, and now you need to take responsibility for the repair.
That's good.
and think about this. This is like marriage skills.
Yes.
These are things that
gosh.
is going to help them in life
Yes,
one day. You've got to take
absolutely.
ownership when you have hurt someone.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it, and to your point about any-day emotions, is even you just knowing in your own self what you're feeling and why.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes, especially if we maybe were raised in a family environment where we just bottled stuff up and eventually we were mad but didn't even know why anymore.
Yep.
So I think
Yeah.
doing inventory, being able to articulate what in you is frustrated and not just moving on, but being able to be able to say what happened. And then I think also with kids, especially, we make the mistake of just trying to make them say you're sorry, but when they have not had time to process through it and work through it, right? That we're not just going for the low hanging fruit of, well, they said they were sorry, but like you said, they actually have come to mean it.
Yeah. So with that said, I don't know about you guys. It sounds like you're similar, but we don't force them to do it in the moment, but we ask that they do it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to apologize right this second if your heart's not where it needs to be right now. But as soon as it's ready, we're all expecting that you take ownership.
This is going to be dealt with. But
Yes.
the time to regulate can, again, be really important in that, because it's futile to try and just grind gears while tempers are still high. So if we can get to an even spot first.
Yeah.
Exactly. And some of our kids are faster at it. I noticed some of them are ready to apologize right away.
And ready
There's
to
others
forgive
that
right
need
away.
some time. Yeah. Yeah, some of them are, and some of them aren't.
Yeah, because it's the wildest when it's like they actually do a really good apology, but the other person just scorns it, nope. Like,
Right.
oh, dang, you're
I don't forgive you.
Serial killer level here.
We've heard that many times in our life.
Rage.
I'm not
rage.
ready to forgive you.
But even just having a culture where it's the expectation that we're going to have these hard conversations, that's a big part of emotional health. There's so much fireworks, there's going to be so much drama, and we don't look at that as some bad thing, but this is good. This is the price we pay for love.
Yes, exactly. This is the invitation to intimacy.
Right.
You can't have intimacy without navigating this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it really matters. And what a great big brother. I mean, this is I love this kid.
Right. Go.
Oldest
Go.
of 5. Very good. One more case for big families, right? Lots of drama, lots of goodness.
That's awesome. All right. Next up, also from Instagram, we've got @LHunter175 from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, not far from you, Debra.
Whoa, we're neighbors.
Wow.
It's 25 minutes from me.
That's amazing.
Which is where the big park is, the Hershey Park?
Hershey Park, Hershey Chocolate Factory. You guys need to come visit. It's
We
fun around
still
here.
never hung out there.
There's a lot to do here.
Are the roller coasters good there?
Yeah, they're amazing. Really
Okay.
good roller
Should go.
coasters. Now, I can't say I personally know this because I stick to the toddler rides, but
If we come,
They
can we
look
get you on a roller
amazing.
coaster?
if there's a churros at the end,
A churro?
Hey, you're
you have to
speaking our
bribe me
language.
Are you
with
kidding
some
me?
food.
Is it
guys-
made out of chocolate though? I feel like at Hershey Place it would be like a chocolate
Levi's
churro.
the
got
king
all
of getting
kinds of
churros
things.
for everybody.
There's all kinds of things. Actually, the street lamps in Hershey are little Hershey kisses.
Aw.
It's super cute.
Oh my gosh.
So what's the deal with this Hershey guy? I've not done my research. There's a guy I presume named Hershey?
Milton
I
Hershey,
Stop.
who started all of these incredible schools for at-risk children that still exist today. It's called the Milton Hershey Schools. So all of his money goes to these amazing schools where they give ridiculous education to kids. It's like a boarding school. So we've got the Milton Hershey Schools. He's done a lot of great things.
Sounds like the Guinness guy. That's what the guy in Dublin did. He made all these he was the first guy to have maternity leave in the world. I mean, he had such good things he was doing for Dublin and people and, distributing his beer around the world. So, hey, good. That's great to have good leadership. As far as you hear about these unhealthiness of Steve Jobs, kind of that kind of thing. But to hear of people doing good with their fortunes, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the town smells like chocolate. And I know we're totally off topic because now I'm like, what was the question? What kind of chocolate do we like?
Yeah, what did
I lost it.
What did they ask?
They asked, we didn't quite make it to the question. At L Hunter 175 wanted to know, how do I keep my home peaceful when I have hormonal preteens and also little ones? Just take them to Hershey Park.
Yeah, just chocolate.
Wow.
How do I keep my home peaceful with emotionally charged teenagers? That's real.
And
Let's
wild
acknowledge
toddlers.
that's real. That's a big deal. The storms of emotion is intense, but then you also got the toddlers in. So you're definitely in that territory.
I know. And part of me is like, what's the answer?
You're like, if you know, tell me.
What is the answer? My sad answer, like my first honest answer is lower your expectations.
Amazing.
Lower your
That's
expectations.
good, though. That's a good answer.
That is a good answer.
Because where do your
I-
expectations come from?
Yeah. What are you
Right.
expecting?
I don't know that I have we have moments of peace
Yeah.
in this house.
Yeah.
Moments. But for the most part, with 4 kids, 2 parents, lots of friends in and out, the peace, my definition of peace has had to be redefined. Peace is not everybody's quiet and obedient and listening, because that really is like moments at a time.
On
in
a
our
leap
life.
year. On a leap year. Yeah.
Exactly. But
Oh, man.
but what's the goal? What's the goal for me? What's the goal? But here's the thing. Even when I think about peace, when we talk about feeling peace in Christ, we often think of it as this emotion, like this peace. But really, it's more of a stance, a goal, a perspective, rather than just a feeling. So the feeling of peace, let's just take our expectations of that and tear them apart. And really the goal is healthy interactions, good character, good connections.
Yeah.
I am disciplining and discipling these little people to learn how to live in that way.
Yeah.
And that to me is a life of peace, even though it doesn't always feel peaceful. So
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like we have to be careful with our expectation of what that looks like. I don't know that we've had one dinner around the table, all 6 of us, that I would have considered peaceful.
Yeah, right.
If I'm honest.
Well, yeah, because I think of, shalom, peace. It means wholeness. And there's the wholeness of like, okay, we are a family that seeks to make Jesus the center of it. And there, in that sense, like we have a peaceful home. But if we're thinking, like you said, Debra, like calm, I imagine candles lit.
The slippers are at the door.
Everyone's
waiting
getting
for the,
along all the
Yes,
time.
you're putting a puzzle together and wearing cozy socks and I don't know,
Right.
but it's just, it does.
And like you said, there's going to be moments of that. But I think, you're looking for the connection, the laughter. It's not
The character.
everything's perfect all the time. And you're eating a 5-course meal. I mean, I think
Right.
the fact that you're going to work through your conflict, you're going to be there for each other.
Yeah.
You're going
Yeah.
to prioritize time together. I
Yeah.
think that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the moments of peace matter more than a household of peace. So I think when I think of moments of peace, I think of doing devotions with my 9-year-old at night. I think of playing a board game. We are playing Uno with Ethan with these huge Uno cards we just got. I think of our Sunday night family devotions time, which isn't always peaceful,
Right.
but we're all together.
Yes.
We're talking, we're engaging. I think of snowball fights outside. I think, like those are the moments and where we seek to make disciples.
Yeah.
And if we're doing that, like you said, Jennie, if the theme is wholeness and health, then I think we're moving in the direction of peace.
Yeah.
And when you do get those
good.
moments of peace, call them out, like spot them,
Yeah.
appreciate. We have this family inside joke that it's happening because it's that warm feeling of joy. Clover coined it one day. She was like, oh my gosh, I feel so warm inside. Everything's just here. And we're all like, it was like one of those Norman Rockwell kind of moments. And she said, and then the next time that happened, she had said, I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling. And we said, oh, you feel love. You're happy this is happening. So then later when it happened again, she goes, it's happening. So now we'll say that to each other whenever we feel like we're in a postcard moment. So I think just appreciate them when they come, you know?
Appreciate them when they come.
That's good.
Let's do one more and then we'll sign off. Debra, this has been so great.
So good.
Yeah, it's been peaceful.
It's been peaceful between the chaotic things I've said.
Because none of our kids are here.
That's right. And as long as the Disney Plus subscription holds out, Lennox will be fine for the next 12 minutes. It'll be good.
I love it. Man, that's great, you guys. All right, next up, we've got from Instagram as well, at itsmichelle.watson wants to know, my husband and I have a 6-month-old, how to create rhythms to recharge ourselves and our relationship with each other.
I wonder if they only have their 6-month-old. Because the rule of thumb we always adhere to when it was just one was when when baby sleeps, mommy sleeps. Like anytime the baby was out, it was like your chance to
take a nap,
rejuvenate a little bit there. So I think you got to take advantage, all that to say, take advantage of the natural built-in rhythms that exist.
Yeah.
Because once you have 2 and 3 kids and you got to start playing zone defense, it's a different ball game, than just the one, right?
Set, hike.
Yeah.
Right. Jennie just said set, hike. I liked that.
Is that right?
Well, zone defense usually comes from basketball, but okay.
Jennie, I didn't even question it. So
Thank you.
It sounded legit to me.
As it was coming out of my mouth.
Don't you just love those great basketball games where they start hiking the basketball? It's pretty good.
It's good, babe.
What do you think, Debra?
6 months. 6 months is a good age. The baby's sleeping a little bit more, you're getting a little bit more sleep at night. I would say, remember that boundaries are healthy and good, because boundaries are one of the ways that you stay filled and healthy. In Soul Care, one of my books, I talk about the 6 rhythms that Jesus practiced to care for his soul. Yeah. And one of them is rest. We just talked about rest, but one of them is boundaries. And I think sometimes we forget that we can and should have boundaries even with our kids. Yeah. It's not a free for all. So with a 6-month-old, that looks like sticking to nap times. It looks like having a routine for bedtime so that you are able to get the separation and the break that you need to connect.
Yeah.
If baby's always there all the time, and I understand that's some people's parenting strategy or parenting style, but you also have to realize it comes at a cost. If baby's there all the time, you are sacrificing time together. Yeah. So what does it look like to have more structure with the nighttime routine, with the nap time routine, with babysitting, so that you're able to prioritize that time together?
That's good.
I could talk about boundaries with kids for like days.
That's great.
But
that's really good.
Yeah, and love making and just all those things that they're not just, that your marriage isn't completely on the back burner now that you have kids and all of those things. So the thought of boundaries with a newborn is kind of awesome and different. You don't normally think about it that way.
You don't. And I would say like the first 3 months, it's survival, right?
Sure.
Yes.
But 6 months on, you can really start thinking through what those boundaries are going to look like. To me, one boundary is the baby having its own place and its own room and its own crib, because it gives me a little bit of separation when I need it.
Yes.
It gives me a little bit of time with my spouse when I need it. And so these are the things I know I talk with couples about a lot when they're in those early stages. And no matter how you do it, no matter what the boundaries look like in your home, I think the key is remembering that boundaries are helpful because they protect what matters.
Good.
And so when you're setting a boundary, you're protecting what matters, which is your relationship with your spouse, keeping it strong, keeping it healthy. So not feeling guilty about doing those little things, setting routines, investing in sleep training, stuff that will really help your marriage in the long run.
Yes.
I know
That
hot
was
take
helpful.
Jimmy's coming out, but there's only one example of a baby sleeping in the same bed with their parent in the Bible, and it's a negative one.
Only one, huh? Yeah, you got to write a book of random hot Jimmy take facts.
Hot take Jimmy. It's that Solomon story where the mom crushed her baby in the night sleeping with the baby.
Man.
That's the only instance of have the baby in bed. I don't think it's good for a marriage. I think what you're saying, what's funny when you talk to my mind, the way it works, I picture you sitting your 6 month down in a stool, like, we had to draw some boundaries. And like the baby's just like sitting there like, sorry, you've been monopolizing me too much. I have to draw some firm boundaries, like actually
Something
having an intervention with the baby.
change.
Because obviously you're talking about having a boundary with your own self.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's what boundaries are.
Yeah.
You can't control somebody else, but it's like, what am I going to do differently? This is a random thing. I was just talking to a couple in a counseling session the other day about little tricks that they can do to prioritize themselves with their baby. And I told them about the idea of doing a car date where the baby comes along, they're in the car seat. Babies sleep so well in car seats.
Yes.
They're much quieter. So even if you can't go out on a date, maybe you put the baby in the car seat and you drive around and the baby sleeps and you go through Starbucks and you park at a lake and you just have them, like, there's creative ways to connect and invest in your marriage.
It's true.
Even if you don't have money for a sitter, like there's ways to do it. You just have to prioritize it.
That's
Very good.
So good.
Well, look, to those who your questions didn't get answered, we're sorry. Thank you for this. To everyone listening, Debra, we hope each and every one will go out and get a copy for your child of Any Day Emotions.
Yes.
God cares about your sunny day, rainy day, and every day in between. Debra, you have made this a sunny day for us. We're so glad that our books get to be friends. Don't worry, warrior,
Yes.
for the 9 to 12-year-old, 8 to 12-year-old, Any Day Emotions for the younger kids, that we overlapped in releasing this fall, books that can help families be emotionally healthy,
Yes.
or we should say more emotionally healthy, because it's always a moving target, always something we don't ever get
That's
to
good.
arrive at. Our family is emotionally healthy, right?
Right. But yeah, it's exciting. And I just appreciate this book that you've written for kids. And worry is a big thing.
Yeah.
Anxiety is a big thing. It starts at a really young age. So I'm really believing that we are investing in a generation of emotionally healthy kids, which will lead to spiritually healthy kids as well, because all of it's connected.
It is.
God wants us to be aligned and healthy physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So I'm excited.
Awesome.
Amen.
Well, we're signing
love
off,
you.
Lusketeers.
Yes.
To those of you who have persisted on the Instagram, YouTube, Facebook Live, thanks for coming out, spending some time with us tonight, chiming in. Jennie, any closing thoughts to any of the peoples?
We love you. This has been a really sweet time. I've been filled. I feel like I've taken away so much. And so I hope it was the same for you. And we're just so grateful.
And Debra, thanks for carving out some time tonight to be with us.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, we love
and
you,
now
Debra.
we all get to go back to our peaceful homes.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
see.
right. Well, we're going to help Daisy change out her gauze, and she can't spit because she doesn't want to get dry socket. So she just has to, she was so sad, like letting the salt water just pool out of her mouth. You know that. Did you have your wisdom teeth out?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, Jennie never did. She had room for hers.
Wow.
Daisy
Let's
was
see your smile, Jennie. You have a great smile.
Daisy was
So
hurt
that's what it
because
looks like.
the dentist told
amazing.
her, your wisdom teeth, we have to remove them because they're not viable. And she was like so sad to hear my wisdom teeth
that
aren't
does sound
viable.
like intense.
Clovers are. So clovers are growing in just like Jennie's. I had to have mine removed. Were John's viable or did they remove them?
Okay, so funny story. Last time John removed them, but when he was under anesthesia,
Personally?
no, he would.
Savage.
He would. He will DIY anything.
His
I'm
own
like, no,
wisdom
you have
teeth?
to go to the dentist.
Dear God.
No, he's wild. He's a surgeon, so he thinks
He's
he
an
can do anything.
ophthalmologist. He does LASIK. He does cornea transplants. I like all the things.
He wants to DIY everything. But last time he was under anesthesia, because he talked about how Daisy was like
Pretty chill.
stoic.
Pretty chill.
Okay. John was going like this to me. He kept doing that like every 5 seconds.
He was DIYing the intimacy.
And I kept having to and the doctor kept coming in and he just kept doing it. So his romantic side really came out.
That is hilarious.
His anesthesia version of him is Juan Paco. He was ready to
faces.
romance you. My gosh, I love it. Okay, do you have any good anesthesia stories?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally. You see those unicorn double rainbow, videos on YouTube.
No, I'm probably more of I thought I was going to be loopier than this. I'm probably more like her, Daisy. Honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let you go, Debra. Thank you.
We love you. Thank you, Debra.
I love you guys too. Say hi to
Bye,
the family.
Everybody. Congrats on the book.
You too, Levi. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to swing by levilusko.com and jennielusko.com to see what's going on in our world.
And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And in the meantime, we would love to connect with you on social media.
Jennie and Levi Lusko out.
Access more